What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Hour right here on Ad-Free Shows First, and of course, being brought to you by Ad-Free Shows. It's Dave Sturchio. It is Josh Shernoff in the most disgusting apparel you could possibly wear on this show.
I understand that I threw you off. I threw you off because this is actually brought to you by MyFandom. But,
well, I didn't want to say that because we're not yet. And then I was waiting for the timing thing.
Well, it's brought to you by MyFandom.
I knew this already. I knew this. And of course, MyFandom, I wonder how many ruthless Philadelphia Eagle fans were in the building. But if you were in any wrestling event in Philadelphia, you can log that event on MyFandom, brand new app. Go check it out. It's available for iOS and Android. But yeah, so Josh, congratulations first and foremost on your disgusting Philadelphia Eagles as they
it's tough. It's tough when you're that good, you know. It just disgusts everybody. But man, thank you. I didn't get a chance to see how the Cowboys did.
You know what's funny? If you really want to know the true, honest to God truth, they have clinched a bye until next season. So
that's wow. So they just get an off.
We don't even have to play.
Couple of months. Yeah.
Okay? We don't have to play. Yeah.
No, man, I'm pumped for no other reason than the fact that I get another opportunity to wear this jacket because it was expensive and I wore it once. So
it made its debut at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania gear. I'm wearing the Mania gear.
Yeah, we had a good time out there. That's the only time I'll ever step into Lincoln Financial Field and feel appreciated or feel like I'm happy. That's it. Even if the Cowboys were to go in there and win, I still wouldn't feel happy. Those people are ruthless. They're disgusting, vile human beings. Josh, you don't include yourself because you're not there, right? You're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I know plenty of Philadelphia Eagles fans that I could tolerate. You, referee Keenan, a couple guys that we saw over at
you can tolerate Keenan?
Keenan's a good guy when he wants to be. But, I just, as a Cowboys fan, you hate to see this. But we didn't have a choice. It was the greater of two evils. I would have loved to see the Commanders get there with Jaden Daniels, but that just didn't happen.
Really?
Yeah, I would have because I can't tolerate this Eagle shit.
Let me ask you a question.
If you guys go in there and dethrone the dragon, slay the dragon of going for a three-peat, we'll never hear the end of it.
We're going after Taylor Swift. We're taking her down. Listen, I was really hoping that it was going to be the Bills.
Same.
But it didn't work out. Look, I mean, we all know it's a work anyway. So
seems that way.
Come on, it's a work. But yeah, we're excited here in the city of brotherly love and
anything but. Did you see your clown fan base just shoot guns off in front of just right in the middle of a crowd?
Listen, they're the worst, but shoot my gun. They're just terrible. They're terrible. But I love the team, and there's a reason why I live in suburban Philadelphia. But
speaking of their celebratory occasions, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is another reason to celebrate, as the War on the Shore was able to announce our first guest of the evening. It's none other than WWE legend, the leader of the Brood, Gangrel. Now, I need, since Josh, you've been in the business a hair longer than me, and when I say hair, I mean probably about a decade longer than me. I'm going on 13 years. I know you're going on like 26 or something.
26.
Whatever it is. Do you have any Gangrel?
Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any Gangrel stories? Running into Gangrel, working with Gangrel, be on the same shows as Gangrel? Do you?
I do have a couple of Gangrel stories.
That's what I like to hear. Thanks.
So, number one, great guy. Absolute awesome guy. First time I ever met Gangrel was in the bathroom at an indie show that I was not actually wrestling on, but had wrestled with the guy who was running the show. His name was Marshall Law, and he had worked on our show as Marshall Law and Fat El Kake, which is so El Kake was, and we're gonna get there, but you're gonna appreciate this.
I hope
so. We had a tournament planned in the TWF for the Pennsylvania Championship, okay? And the illustrious Pennsylvania Championship. And the night before, this one of the guys that was supposed to be in there just backs out, right? And we had tried to get all like no-name indie guys. That was our concept, was we are going to try and take these people no one's ever heard of and make names out of them. So people go, oh, if I want to see so-and-so, I have to come to TWF. And it actually worked decently well. We had a nice audience every time, and it was fun. One of those no-name people that I plucked out of obscurity, he'd been wrestling for a cup of coffee, was a gentleman by the name of Kevin Matthews. And Kevin Matthews went by the name Too Cocky Kevin Matthews.
Yeah, that's still with him.
So this other guy backs out of the tournament the night before our show. And I'm on the phone with my buddy Andrew, and I'm just like, dude, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. I don't have time to get somebody else. I can't, and it was this is 2002. So this wasn't, I'm not going on Twitter, hey, is anybody, available? So
if there was only a way to just figure out who's
there
available.
will be. There will be. But so we're talking about it, I'm like, you know what if, and we're just going back and forth, and we come up with this concept, because I had this like really small luchador mask that Bill Apter had given me for my high school graduation, like an actual Mexican.
You owe Bill Apter your life, man. I feel like he's
Bill's
giving you so
given me
much.
Everything. If only I could give him hair. But so I had this luchador mask. So the idea was, you know what? Why don't we have this Too Cocky Kevin Matthews, who I'd never met at this point. This is the first time I talked to him on the phone, but this is the first time I was going to meet him. And we'll have him just pull double duty. He'll lose in the first round, and then he'll come back later on in the first round as El Caque.
As another 6'6", 265-pound man.
Wearing his singlet that said KM and Too Cocky on it, but with the mask. And Kevin, to his credit, was phenomenal. He did this like La Parka-esque dance out to the ring, and it was awesome, to the point that we then decided to book him again as El Caque.
Please get to Gangrel.
So Kevin Matthews then, super late to the show, the next show, where he's supposed to be El Caque. But I have the mask, so I give it to this almost 400-pound martial law, and we call him Fat El Caque, but he just came out as though he was El Caque. Same thing.
So he put on a few pounds since last
So
year.
martial law then decided to run his own show, Pro Excitement Wrestling. And that is where I met Gangrel. So it all ties together, and I thought you'd appreciate this little history of Kevin Matthews.
So if in the off chance that I talk to Kevin again one day, can I bring up El Caque? He'll know exactly what the hell I'm talking about.
100%. But you can't ask him to wear the mask, because about a year and a half later, he did a run-in after he had been like fired from our company type thing like that, and he decides to do a run-in as El Caque, pulls off the mask. The crowd actually went nuts. It was awesome. And he got so pumped and excited that he threw the mask out into the crowd, and that was the end of it.
Son of a bitch. All right. He owes me a green screen for my studio, and he owes you a mask. Okay. I'm just going to write this down.
Danny Demanto owes me a tag belt, but while we're keeping track. But anyway.
Jesus Christ.
So,
Gangrel. Huh?
Gangrel. So we go in there, we're walking. So I'm there with my brother Fred, Calvin, Matt Mangle. We walk into the bathroom, and there's Gangrel. Now, you got to remember, this is 2002. Yeah, I've been training. I've been on the indies. We've been doing our own shows. But still, I mean, you see a guy like Gangrel, you mark out for it, right? Mangle goes up to him. Gangrel. Good to meet you, sir. Right? All of a sudden, he's going to come up there. Puts out his hand. Gangrel goes, I'd shake your hand, but I just, And, man, it was in the bathroom, relieving himself. And that was the first interaction with Gangrel. Years later, I would end up working with Gangrel at Blizzard Brawl,
Okay.
And got to actually spend some time talking to him backstage and stuff. And just, dude is the nicest guy you can meet. Blue Meanie used to say that they called him the Tampire, because he was a vampire but incredibly tan. So
Like that.
the good news is he's apparently used to the sun, because I just found it ironic that Fight Factory Wrestling thinks, who is the best wrestler for me to book out in the hot sun on the beach with no shade? The vampire.
Listen, if Lady Frost didn't melt, we'll be okay. Okay.
I think you're right. You guys, listen, you guys have been pushing the envelope, right?
Yeah.
Bring Lady Frost down in there. Now the Tampire. Yeah.
Like, all right, so the Gangrel thing was a Chris Payne idea. He's like, well, we're throwing out names, and we're throwing out like super indie, like famous names, and a couple TNA guys sprinkled in. Nobody from AEW, because we know it's just a little bit more of a headache to try to book them.
Yeah,
except for Lady Frost, we're gonna get her back. But yeah, we were thinking, and all of a sudden, Payne's like, wait, picture this. It's nighttime. This music hits. Red smoke, fire. How can we do this? Gangrel appears. I'm like, I did the Rock thing,
Yep.
that's it. I was like, it has to happen. I was like, does anybody know how to get in touch with Gangrel? And he's like, I got a guy, Brian Hawks, down in North Carolina.
Works at a cemetery.
Yeah,
where Gangrel sleeps.
He works right next to the Undertaker. No, so we got in contact. He is. I want to say, just based off conversation, I haven't talked to him. It's all been a Chris Payne thing. But apparently, like, Chris reached out. Gangrel reached back out, said, I'm interested. Chris was working as a New York City police officer, so things are always, moving on the fly. And we didn't answer Gangrel back right away. And Gangrel was like, all right, man, catch you next time then. And I was like, no, wait.
Wow.
So, well, I mean, it probably hours passed, and he probably thought we're like, he gave a rate, and then we were like, nah, fuck that. No, like, it was, dude, just based off of what I've heard from Chris, the interactions with this guy, seamless process, just easy, flight booked, everything's good. He's ready to rock and roll.
He's a pro's pro. He really is.
He feels like he might be lockstep with another man that we're close to. And I feel like, what if we lived in a world where the Attitude Era met the end of WCW era one-on-one? So, hey, I'm not going to say anything yet. We're going to figure it all out. I think we got a good idea cooking up. But Gangrel's our first one, and we're going to be announcing a lot more. I did mention this, and I want to get your thoughts as a former booker of shows. We are going to do the first annual, or at least inaugural, or the only one, because it's going to crown a champion. But we're going to do a 20-man over-the-top battle royal, but call it the Sink or Swim Super Bird Invitational. So this is not going to be your typical, hey, let's see how many local kids we can get, and just, because I went on a rant yesterday about, professional wrestling, independent professional wrestling in a nutshell. I mean, and don't get me wrong, and this is where, if anybody sees this clip, you're going to understand that some of the people that commented on it, I was talking about you. So it's like, which is nuts, because I'm just like, wait, this guy just said, man, I hate when they pay $10 referees. And I'm like, well, your promoter is guilty as shit. So, yeah. But anyway, I digress. But we want to do this, and we want to crown the first ever Super Bird champion. So I think the cool part about this is that everybody's gonna be hand selected. There's 20 spots. There's 4 of us making the selections. Me, Payne, Tommy D, Tommy Tequila, right? So we're each gonna pick 4
so you want to bump out Tommy D and put me in? That's fine.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah. No, but what I'm thinking of, like, as a concept, like, have you ever seen, besides obviously we're in Rumble season, we'll get into the Rumble in a couple minutes, but like, have you ever seen something like this where each and every person, because normally these battle royals, it's just a clusterfuck of people in the ring, ding, 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 who wins, we'll find out. Like this, I want like 10 to start, 5 to come in, rapid fire, right? but then four to come in, or whatever, five to come in, and then have four guys left. I'm doing all this math. I think it's way too early, and I'm sick.
What's happening here?
Yeah, I'm just this is going off on a rant. But with like, you let the match happen for about 5 minutes, and then you get the elite picks, which is a personal pick from me, Tommy, Payne, and Tommy, and those guys get to come out a little later in the game as like a little bit of a leg up. Like, have you seen something like that before? Like, I know that GCW just did it where they had like special entrances for bigger stars, but like, I want everybody in this thing to have a purpose and a focus.
Yeah, that's a unique spin on it, and I think that works. I definitely think that works.
And we're crowning a champion. I just have to figure out if we're gonna do this in pre-show, like the pre-show Rumble thing, or do I put this like right before a possible intermission or a possible main event? Because, you know, the people that we do bring on are probably going to bring some people. Yeah, I'm not talking about ticket pushing like, hey, please come see me wrestle. Like friends, family, whatever, you know, just the normal. Do we, you know, basically tell them like, hey, because it's going to be a paid gig. Like we've allocated money to this. Not going to be, you know, you're not going to be rich, but, you know, when you have to pay for parking and your gas coming down to Tiki just to be there, we got you, you know, but like, I feel like this is a great opportunity for some younger on the ups, but also guys that have been around the block that want to, you know, compete for this championship. I just think it puts more value on it if it's not just super up and comers, that we have some veterans in there that really want to, you know, get a roster spot on Fight Factory Wrestling.
Well, let's hear what some of our listeners and viewers think. Maybe they can hit you up on social media and they can give you their opinion on what they think, if they like this idea, if they have maybe suggestions of who they think might be a good fit in there.
I tell you what, Mark Carino, which is Justin Carino's brother, formerly known as the Heavenly Bodies, Desirable Dustin, Gigolo Justin. These got, and yes, they got the approval from everybody that they needed the approval from.
I was worried sick.
Tom Pritchard, yeah. Dr. Tom. But I will say that Mark Carino cooked up a graphic last night for this Rumble. I'm like, we're the best. Like we have the best fucking team. Like, wait until you see this thing.
Probably gonna graphic work is phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Even the Gangrel one got me freaking so pumped. And then he cranked out another like 3 or 4 that he sent us last night. I'm like, God damn, you don't miss. But when I gave him the inspiration, like, of what I was looking for this Rumble graphic, dude, knocked it out the fucking park, and I can't wait to show it to everybody. So excited about that. Excited about Gangrel. Let's talk a little bit now. Obviously, WWE Royal Rumble is on its way Saturday night, 6:00 start time, which I hate, by the way.
Why do you hate that?
Because while I understand that it's a longer show and it'll probably still end at like 9:30, 10 o'clock anyway, I know what they're doing. They have a UFC fight night. They don't want to compete against each other. I get it. But like, you and I are going to do the pre-show for ad-free shows. I'm excited about that.
Yep.
But now I got to like haul ass to where I got to be, unless I do it from the studio, because I'm hosting a little Rumble party myself. But like 6? Come on, man. You could have been like 7 o'clock like everybody else.
I love it. I love it 6 o'clock because I watch it with my kids now.
It's good for the kids.
Watch with my kids. I can get them the hell to bed. It's afterwards. I like it. But yeah, we are going to be live on the air, on the MyFandom YouTube channel and the adfreeshows.com YouTube channel. We will be live and free at 4:30 Eastern time, 4:30 to 5:30 Eastern time. It is only 60 minutes. That is it. It's the wrestling hour, not the wrestling hour and a half.
They already caught us, brother.
Yeah, so we're going to be, and what's cool is we're going to be live on the big screen at Top Guy Rumble. So we encourage everybody to interact with us, the top guys and gals that are going to be there. That's going to be a lot of fun. Efren is going to be doing his Rumble party. Oh man, it's going to be so good. I can't wait to see what kind of jacket he's wearing. Man after my own heart, you know, love a good jacket. You know what I'm saying?
I got a feeling it's going to be so gay. So that's what I got a feeling. I love you, Everett.
And what's wrong with that, Dave?
So
explain to us. No. What's wrong with so gay?
No, wrestling is gay, and I love it. That's a quote from Tommy Tequila after Effie won the championship on our show last week, the Fight Factory Wrestling Podcast. It's a joke, obviously. He's He is the how can I explain this? He's the apple to my, what is it? Like, what? I love Efren. Efren's the man.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's the apple to your what?
I don't know. There's a phrase where like he means a lot to me. There was once upon a time. Let me tell you a side story about Efren. Okay. First of all, Efren is somebody that I got the chance and pleasure to meet when we were doing all of our stuff in Chicago. I think it was Chicago, right? Yeah, He was there for that. I got to meet him there. We talked online numerous amount of times. Like, this is a guy that I think that people have to take notes on how to be a human being to others, because Efren, out of the kindness of his heart, never met me a day in his life, and may have met me once prior to this, but he would just send me like gift cards. Hey, go get yourself coffee today on me. Why? Because you're my friend. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, for somebody who doesn't get treated like that by anybody else, it's not even you, Josh. I don't think you bought
absolutely not. No, I make like, you get me coffee.
Like, hey, let me just throw out a coffee just for shits and gigs. And it wasn't even just a coffee. It was like, here's a week's worth. And I'm like, what the fuck? So shout out to Efren.
Efren is,
and I know he's going to deliver a high quality product for Top Guy Weekend. It's going to be great for him. It's awesome.
Efren is one of the nicest human beings I've ever interacted with ever.
Seriously.
And he's probably going to be upset that I'm putting him over like this, but it's true. Efren is great. Efren is, if everyone had a friend like Efren, I think the world would be a better place.
I agree.
But I guess his jacket's gay, so what can you do? But Efren's going to be having a great...
I haven't been able to use gay in a funny context in so long, but like,
there's a reason.
But no malice to it.
I think there's a reason.
No malice. Like, no, but like, oh man, I hate it because it's gay. No, it's like, it's so gay. It's so funny. It's so great.
Well,
like,
Effie is definitely working hard to make that a thing. To legitimately, Effie.
What?
Not Efren.
Oh,
Effie.
Oh yeah, Effie. Yes.
I guess all gay people look alike to you.
No,
but
listen. Speaking of Effie, GCW World Champion, he might also have a thing to do on the beach in July. I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I don't know. Just stay tuned.
It could happen.
Anyway,
happen.
Very excited for our weekend. They're going to be doing a great job. We're going to be live on Saturday right before the Rumble. We're getting some spicy promos leading up to the Rumble. We got some great action on a Saturday night's main event last week. I got to say, super, like, forever. This will be forever, no matter what, until he can't make his way down to the ring. Anytime Shawn Michaels comes down to the ring for anything, I geek. I go back to 7-year-old Dave Sturchio and I say, this guy is the coolest person that I know, that I don't know, but like that I've ever seen. And he comes out there to moderate the contract signing, which never actually says, you sign it. Have a great night, everybody. And then they go home. It's never the case, ever. I'm expecting a table to break. No table. Instead, we get the treat. To see Shawn Michaels one more time tune up that band and crack Kevin Owens right in the face. Great delivery, great sell, great moment. That, Josh, there's a lot of hatred being built between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. I think that ladder match for the, I guess you can call it the unification of the WWE Championship with the Winged Eagle and the normal belt. I think that match is going to go down as like one of the really, really good matches that we see within the last like decade or so, maybe even longer.
We've seen Cody in AEW had some badass moments on a ladder. And we have seen, if you've ever seen the ladder match, I think it was a ladder match. I saw clips of it. Someone had posted this online recently, but Kevin Steen versus El Generico. That dude before he retired. And it was, what was happening on that ladder was so, I don't understand how Kevin Owens can still walk. I do understand why El Generico had to retire, because you just could not continue after that.
Oh my God.
But it was unbelievable. So just I have high. What's that?
Huh? I said, I don't know. This guy reminds me of somebody else that's in the Rumble, but whatever. I know you don't agree. Yes, yeet. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that match. I think it's gonna be really good. I predict a Cody cutter off the top of a ladder or something like that. There's no way they're gonna be like, oh man, remember that amazing moment with Sammy Guevara? Let's just let that live in AEW. Now, come on over.
Let's bring the production up just a little bit, just a little bit, and then
and the ladder's gonna be like 40 feet taller. But no, I'm excited for it. I will say for the rest of my days, I will be disappointed in the Winged Eagle belt, that they never got an actual belt and that it's a replica, because a replica looks different on TV. It just does. It's different material.
It doesn't shine the right way, if that makes sense to you.
No, it's just a solid gold, and it's not.
Would it have killed them? Honestly, would it have killed them to just break it out? Like, I know they have them in storage.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
or maybe
their big issue. So the big issue in the argument would be, well, the
please tell me it's not the WWF. Come on.
It is. But
I know.
Medusa showed up.
Medusa
showed up, and they put a little tape over the F on her. She had the old school women's title, and they put a little tape over it. You're done. Why couldn't they have brought out one of the Winged Eagle belts, one of the old school Winged Eagle belts, and just filled that in with a touch of putty? You know what I'm saying? Like, fill in the little etch. To me, you go from, oh my God, he's got this championship, that the lineage, the history, and instead you're going, he's carrying around the same toy that the neckbeards are carrying around out in the crowd. And that's where I lose it. If there was no such thing as replica championships that someone could buy, then I would say, all right, they had like a replica one made. Who cares? WCW had that back in the day. But
I can go on and on about replica championships. I don't think they should ever be a thing, honestly. And I know that the people collect them. You have two behind you. You had those made, though. So they're not replicas.
I'm sorry. What? No.
Hear me out.
No.
Hear me
no. We're going to. No. Okay. Right off the bat. This one right there. TWF Championship. Made by Reggie Parks. Handcrafted by Reggie Parks.
Who was Reggie Parks?
Well, we're not going to get into that. Reggie Parks, the greatest, the guy who created the Winged Eagle.
Right.
This championship right over there was the premier championship held by Matt Cardona.
That will
also
be
held by EC3.
That'll be brought back to life. I said that'll be brought back to life one day, I promise.
No, it won't. But because you're thinking about the Showcase Championship that Matt Cardona carried with him around the world, all around the world. He had that shit in Europe, in Japan. He had that everywhere, that specific belt. And when he won this one, he gave me this one. Now that one up top there, is just another, because we had two of them made for the Showcase, just in case something happened to it. And then I've got one other belt over here you can barely see, which is a different TWF belt from the first one was Teenage, and this is the other.
All right.
None of them are replica belts. They're actual belts that were ring-used championships.
Fine. Just like our Fight Factory Championship, a one of one. I get it, right?
Exactly.
But the idea that you let fans buy this prestigious stuff makes it less prestigious. The fact that I have the big gold in my studio in Mattawan, like that, to me, it's egregious. The fact that I have a
says a lot about you, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not mine. It's Chris Payne's. He actually has his name as a plate. So fuck. And then you look at we have the old, I call it the Jericho Intercontinental Championship. You know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, the oval.
So like, we have that at studio. Egregious. Why? Because it shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. Do you see anybody else? And I know there's replica mini guys, like little mini things, but like, do you see the NFL giving out Super Bowl trophies? Do you see the NBA? Do you see the MLB giving out Stanley Cups? No, dude, if they haven't done it already. If they haven't done it already, they're not going to do it. So what I'm saying is, my point is, don't you take the prestige out of it when you let anybody and their mother walk around with these things.
Here's my counter. Here's my counter to that.
I get it. It's money. I get it.
No. We all know it's money. I mean, they're not doing this because one day they woke up and said, you know what I really think these fans deserve? No, it's all about money. But here's my counter to that. The exact reason why it bothers me that Kevin Owens is carrying around a replica. Because the difference is all those people can have a WWE replica championship.
Mm-hmm.
But only Cody is actually carrying that heavy-ass leather, metal, gold-plated, legit championship. That if you see them next to each other, they are not the same. You and I have had the opportunity, Conrad Thompson has a million championships, and we've had the opportunity to hold in our hands the ring-used winged eagle, the original real big gold, the U.S. title, intercontinental titles, the real ones, the real.
Get his hands on that. I want to know that.
It's a long story, but the thing is, when you see them in person, forget even touching them. When you see them, you could tell which one's a replica, which one is the $500 replica, and which one is the ring-used real one. Or not even ring-used. Let's say it was brand new, just handcrafted by Wildcat Belts or somebody like that, right? Who makes the WWE's belts and made the ones that are behind me here. You can tell the difference. And that is why Kevin Owens should be carrying around a winged eagle that is real. Because the fans should never be able to actually hold a real championship belt. They should only ever be able to hold a replica.
I agree.
The real championship should be that thing that even when they've got replica on both shoulders and around their waist,
bro,
they should then be looking at the real one going, I would throw these away in a heartbeat just to hold that.
How many years, Josh, were people clamoring for this? Years of wanting the winged eagle belt back.
Yeah.
And then, and I feel like WWE to me doesn't miss with much. This was a huge miss by the WWE.
Agreed.
And it's like, oh man, like, and even when they did the promo, like when Cody opened the thing and the gold is shining in his face, you thought in your mind, son of a bitch, they dusted it off. Here it is. We're gonna see it. And then when he comes out with it, it's just like, what? No, that's not it. Like, and you knew it right away. And maybe we're just being sticklers, or maybe we're just being marks. I don't know. But like,
no, because most of the people couldn't care less. Yeah, my kids are watching it. First of all, here's the thing though. Winged eagle doesn't mean anything to them. They don't care.
So it's caters to people like us.
Yeah.
That grew up with that shit and seen guys like Hogan, Yoko, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold before they retired it. Like the Rock never actually held it, Macho Man. But it's just, again, just the little nuanced things. But we all say that to say that there will be one unified champion on Saturday night. And if we'll make our official predictions on Saturday during the show. But I am heavily leaning one way, unfortunately. And I'll just leave it at that because I'm sorry, excuse me. I feel like, WWE, and while their stories are always going to be super piping white hot, I always feel like there's a little bit of predictability that they leave, and they're like, yeah, no, we just, have a banger match, but we got this all set up over here for Mania. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so we'll get into all that. But I got to ask, Saturday night's main event, the second edition, a couple little nuances that were added, I think were added. Maybe I missed it in the first go around. Lillian Garcia as the ring announcer, the microphone from the top. Yeah, that was cool. Thought that was very well done.
I thought that was cool. I thought that was a really cool shout out. Yeah, it's. I actually liked the entrance better. I liked that they kind of let the entrance be a little bit bigger, but now it was just the smaller section. Because my issue with the last one was it looked really cool when people were walking into the building and when it first started, but then the rest of the show, it just looked like the regular entrance because the screen was so big. So I like the fact that the screen was now shaped just like the old school entrance. So they're evolving. I think it's kind of cool that it's remaining like a throwback with the red, white, and blue ropes and
the referees, by the way, like with the long sleeve bow ties.
It's cool.
Which I spoke to WWE referee Sean Bennett after the show in length. Like because because there was a part of a specific match that happened. I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, the Uso match, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Which one had that amazing falsie? Had to be that one, right? Yeah, had to be that one. But anyway, there's a spot where Jesse Ventura just wouldn't let it go. That was 3. That was 3. The ref counted 3. He would not shut the hell
Don't
up.
tell me that wasn't a 3 count. I was there.
He wasn't shut up about it. And now it's really making me mad that I don't remember which match it was. I want to say it was Gunther and Jey Uso.
I think it was, yeah. I think it was.
Okay. Yeah. For the, like I said, that's the world championships on the line. And I talked to Bennett and I said, man, fuck, Jesse Ventura wouldn't shut the hell up about you. He was like, you know what's funny? He goes, after it, me, Triple H, Jesse Ventura had a really big laugh about it in the back, because he was actually, and I hope I'm not breaking any kind of fourth wall confidence with Sean Bennett, but he said, dude, Jesse Ventura was actually convinced that I hit 3. And then I changed my decision at the last minute because of the foot on the rope or the hand on the rope, whatever it was. Now I want to say it wasn't that match, because why the hell, what match is actually, oh my God, this is going to drive me nuts. Man, that's going to really bug me. But anyway, I'm sure I'll be driving to my studio and just swerve off the road. It was this. It's bugging me now. But anyway,
terrible.
I know. But anyway, he was like, dude, he was so convinced that I made a mistake. And Triple H was like, nah, you swiped. When you do the 2 count and you swipe instead of the actual 3. Everything went perfectly. I said, dude, that falsie might have been one of the better ones that I've seen lately. And that has a lot to do.
It's so good. It's seared in your brain. You'll never forget the match. You'll never forget the specific moment and all of the players involved. You know
what? Now I'm freaking Googling this shit now because I'm just so bummed out that I can't figure it out.
So
Braun Breaker?
Oh, was it the Braun Breaker Sheamus?
Yes.
Yes, it was. Yes, because Jesse Ventura kept going on about how Sheamus, will Sheamus ever win? Yeah, he just did.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. I'm sorry. My apologies to all the listeners out there probably screaming at their screen right now, like, you dumb shit, it was this one. So there it is.
They're still hot about the homophobic stuff. Look, listen, stop. He's
listen,
not.
I can go on and on about that, but
I'm not. Listen, Dave loves gay people, and I'm not talking about just tolerates. I'm talking about Dave loves gay people.
Listen, I don't need to
loves, and so I won't hear anything of it.
Listen, I
don't even need to explain yourself. Dave loves gay people. It's good.
My best friend. Listen, I'm not dialing this back or making the peeling back the curtain. My best friend John, God rest his soul, passed away in 2007. He's the reason why I do any of this wrestling shit. He was gay, and he was my best friend. So don't tell me I don't like.
Don't tell me I'm not tolerant of gay people.
I was there. Anyway. So anyway, Saturday night, little nuances. Again, stories are cooking. You got Jey Uso coming this close. He said, "Hey, I can beat him. He's on his Raw promo. By the way, another one that doesn't miss. And why do they keep aligning him with all the rappers?
I'm not really sure they like
Quavo. And again, then now people are like, dude, really? And I'm like, all right, so I'm not cultured up on current rap. They ain't gonna touch Tupac. They're not touching Biggie. So I don't care who they are. Okay. Yeah. But what I will say is Jey Uso keeps making these grand entrances, which is great. His promos are getting so I feel like I'm talking to somebody that wants to have a fight, like right now,
they're kind of like, they're not like traditional promos, but they're intense. Like you feel it. Yeah. No, it's definitely growing on me. It's something Jimmy needs to work on. Hey, speaking of, let's stop trying to make Big Jim a thing, because it's not. And he just keeps calling himself Big Jim.
Oh no, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, Jimmy Uso. He just keeps calling himself Big Jim, and it just is like,
that's not gonna land.
No, you're not Big Jim. Like, what are you doing?
You're the same size. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what makes you big?
He's main event, but I'm big. It's like, well, all right, go on a diet. Like, what do you want me to say? Like,
Yeah, I don't particularly like that, but I do feel like we're getting a very I don't know whose fault this is, but out of the twins, like it's not, right now it's not close, but like could it be, Josh? Could there be a research? Because look, even the harshest critiquers of WrestleMania said that one-on-one brother match wasn't good. And I'm just like, well, I beg to differ. I think it was good. It wasn't great. I think they made up for it in their spot in the main event with the spear off the thing and boop, 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 But like, do you think there will be some time left for Jimmy, Big Jim, to make his a leap to get on Jay's level right now? Because Jay, merchandise, fans,
here's what it's gonna be.
All that shit. Is it ever gonna happen?
He's got to get out from the shadow of his brother. And he is purposely putting himself. He's putting himself in the shadow. The fact that he's done the yeet now, and then he does the no yeet. It's like, first of all, no yeet doesn't make sense anymore because that was when you were against him. Now you guys are tight again. So why are you like no yeet, and why are we supposed to cheer no yeet while we're also going ape shit for yeet? Doesn't make any sense. I feel like
if anybody tuned in right this second on that last sentence, they'd be like, "Oh, so they don't speak English."
So I think, to me, it's like, this is one of the things. Look, this is, and I love Rikishi, nothing but love. But that man, listen, there was never a homemade T-shirt that he didn't find that he would sell that has. I mean, that dude, an example. Okay, that man was selling a T-shirt of the bloodline, the Samoan dynasty, which he had the Samoan dynasty thing going before the bloodline. So shout out to him for that. But he had the whole bloodline. It was Roman Reigns, it was the Usos, and it was him with the superimposed white Intercontinental title over him, which he never held. He held a different championship, but it was such a carny, like, people need to know that I was Intercontinental Champion, and he's at like the top. All of a sudden, it was this weird thing, and so I saw the same thing with Alpha Jr. at Knuckle Brawl, where he's up there doing the yeet. We don't speak about
Knuckle Brawl, but go ahead.
But he's up there doing the yeet to the crowd, and I'm just looking. I'm like, yeah, we get it. You're related to him, but that's not how you're gonna get over. That's not like the same way that
trying to be relatable to the kids that might have a clue.
I get it, but it's like,
my kids at the time, my kids were 5 and 2. My son's 3 now since the show, but like there was somebody, I forgot which fan, made like cardboard cutout like fat heads of Alpha Jr.
That was awesome,
and my kid still has it, and it's in his playroom. And I gotta look at his fucking face every time I see it. I'm just like, Alpha Junior's in my living room, but he goes, "Look, Dad, Roman." So like they're relating it, they're putting it together, and maybe that's the way to kind of put it all together.
Is that the definition of systemic racism, or is it?
Oh my God,
I don't know how that works. No, look, no, it's fine. I will say, fun fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's your fun fact. I got your fun fact.
Many years ago, I gave my son I don't know what WrestleMania I had come back from, but it was, I was working one of the things. I bought him it was like an old school, looked like The Rock, like little plush doll, okay?
Sure.
But it was like old school Rock with like the shirts and had hair and stuff like that. He had sunglasses and all that. And I gave it to him, and he called it Maui.
Oh.
Thing is, though, he did not know that The Rock was the voice of Maui. He had never seen The Rock outside of this plush toy. In my mind, it must have been the skin tone. Because there were no tattoos on this toy or anything, right? So it's not like, oh, he saw the tribal tattoos and thought. It must have been the skin tone, because it's not like he heard it. You know what I mean? So, listen, everyone's a little bit racist, especially Hulk Hogan.
Please stop! Don't start this shit.
No, listen. Hey, it's not fair to judge one person by their continued actions.
No, it is fair. It is fair to judge them on their non-apologetic ways going forward.
Yes.
So then you can judge the shit out of that dusty old shit.
CM Punk's going to throw his dusty ass out of the Royal Rumble. Look,
you know, it's so funny you mentioned that because I feel like that's genuine, real hatred for the guy.
Oh, I think he just took the opportunity. I don't think it's hatred. I think it's just like, I'm going to shoot on Hogan. It'll be funny because he can't do anything. But hey, speaking of the Royal Rumble, like,
yeah,
I don't know who's going to win. And I love that.
It's loaded.
I love that because we went through so many years where you're just like, all right, obviously this person's winning, obviously this, or maybe it's this one or this one, you know?
Josh, the last two I've called. I'm like, Cody. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Cody.
and you felt pretty good about this one. No idea.
This one, when the promo was over for Jey Uso this past Monday night, I texted the guys. I said, could he win?
It could be Jey Uso, right?
You know, I was like, can this be a sea of everybody just going ape shit, looking at the sign? I know it makes no sense because you're thinking to yourself, like, you know, but he just went on record and said, I could beat him. So now if he wins the Rumble,
well, that's the thing, right? It doesn't have to be. The Rumble does not have to lead into whatever your major story is, right? Let's say it's going to end up being like Cody and Roman. Okay. Let's say it's a rematch or whatever, right? But let's say that's your mega match, okay?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
The Rumble does not have to be the thing that leads to that. The Rumble can be its own thing that's going to lead to the World because let's not forget the World Heavyweight Championship with Gunther. That's what's on Netflix. That's the big one, right?
So my only pushback to that is, when you win the Royal Rumble, you main event WrestleMania.
Yeah, but there's 2 nights.
So and that's where 2 nights makes a big deal now because I'm going to main event night 1 of WrestleMania, and night 2 will be The Rock and Roman or whoever, you know, whatever they decide to do. But as soon as that promo was over, it was like, I could beat him. And I was like, yeah. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, he could. But in my mind, I'm like, also like, well, how's he get there? Only one way to get there right now. You know what I mean? And like, you're thinking about everybody else. You got Cena. You got freaking Roman. You got Punk. It's just the list goes on and on and on. This is a loaded ass Rumble. You got surprises. Who knows who's coming up from NXT? Who knows who might be making their re-debut? Who knows? Because some people could be always ready. Who knows?
Maybe
what people are going to do.
There's also one other person that I'm waiting for, and that's Joe Hendry. They now have a deal, an actual contract, an actual deal with TNA, not just a working relationship, an actual long-term deal. He is the TNA World Champion. If there was ever a time and reason for Joe Hendry, of all the people that you could pick from TNA to show up in the Rumble, it's their world champion. Like, how do you know?
Yeah, speaking of that, I definitely want to shout out and congratulate Jordan Grace, apparently signing a contract with WWE. So
awesome for her.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's incredible.
Very
She's been
for her.
Nothing but the nicest person I've ever met. Super, super kind, super humble, super jacked to the gills. She looks the part. Yeah. She's just a monster. She's great. So shout out to her. But I will say, you say Joe Hendry as a moment where people would go, you know, a lot, you know, into it. They're clapping, doing all that shit. I want some Big E in this thing, man.
You want to go big?
Yeah, if his music hits, that'll give you the Edge type feels. Like, no way. Like,
it's been like 4 years. It's insane.
It's been longer than that. Yeah. I feel like it's been longer than that. And it would just be a culminate. And look, again, he ain't going out there to win it, but he could pull off a spot in my mind where he could pull off a spot where, you know, the New Day's in there, you know, somewhere along the line, they're beating up one guy. Big E comes in, a couple spots, junks them, and knowing he's not going to win. And again, this is a risky move, but maybe like, you know, put himself over the top rope, eliminate himself, but to just take him out for once and for all and lead that into Mania of some variation, because you don't want him to do too much, but you also don't want to get the idea that like Big E's in, can he win? Like, he can't win. But like,
no, but it'd be better to maybe he throws them out and they can come back in and throw him out later or something. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That's been done before. Once upon a time, can't put my finger on the last time I saw it, but anyway.
Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, I believe, did something like that. Goldberg
Asshole,
and
I was talking about us, but
Goldberg and
talking about
us.
Oh
Yeah, no, I've
that.
eliminated that because that was that never happened. You and I have never touched
Yeah.
because because the
Never
Kevin
saw the light of
Matthews
day.
didn't know how to. He doesn't know what a blow off is. He doesn't know how to actually
we
sell
were
something.
too long.
So
We were too long. We went too long. We went too long.
Yeah.
We had the crowd in the palm of our hands. We went too long.
Yeah, it went too long.
Anyway,
I think it was almost 62 seconds.
yeah, it might have been because I remember walking back to the table and the next person was coming out.
Yeah.
So, damn, that was fast. Anywho, where was I with that? Oh yeah, so Rumble, it's stacked. We'll make our predictions on Saturday. We're very much looking forward to talking to the masses about the Royal Rumble. It is my favorite event of the year. I think it's a lot of people's favorite event of the year. Josh, gun to your head, what is your favorite Rumble winner? Not so much memory, your favorite Rumble winner.
Oh man, my favorite, like
on the fly right now. I didn't even prepare you for this. There's a million Royal Rumbles starting in 1990 or 89.
So I think the favorite winner, like moment of like, he's not my favorite wrestler, but the favorite, Royal Rumble win is what you're asking. Would be 2002 Triple H. It was just because you talk about jacked to the gills. Holy crap. Like he came in there and that was such a cool Rumble. Yeah, that's one. What about you?
Well, it's the second Shawn Michaels win for me is my favorite moment, where I remember Kurt Hennig was the one to yell 2 years in a row, as he's like going nuts. Mm-hmm. So that was going, here we go. Ready? I figured, you know what? We're talking racism. we're talking homophobia. Why don't we throw in a murderer? Chris Benoit's win is a very, very good one to me. It is. It's a very good one.
I was there. I was there for the Rumble. But this thing
could have been stopped so long ago if you would have just came clean.
I was there for it, and that was incredible. That was an incredible moment. Nobody thought that was happening.
Again, it's not like one of these things where, we're a social media team and we put out a photo and say, hey, what is the first thing when you think about when you see a guy like this? I digress with that one. But anyway,
Benoit straight up out them for doing that.
Even
Joel at Fight TV. And I know what you're thinking. At Triller TV? No, because he doesn't know how to change the handle.
So anyway, I also think
dude posts a picture of Chris Benoit. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see this?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm like, are you? And everyone's commenting like, what's wrong with you? Social media guys getting fired? Nope.
No, he's still there.
Still there.
Alive and kicking. But so
Benoit.
Rumble moments have been incredible. Cena's big return when he was 30, when he came back like 3 months early from his surgery.
Favorite return. What was your favorite return?
Damn. It's recency bias, but to see Edge come back after all that with nobody having a clue, that leads you to think that there is still somewhat a resemblance of or kayfabe or whatever, like that out of nowhere was a great return for me. But then I also just mentioned the one before with Cena coming back a couple months early and Triple H's face of saying like, wait, no, right? And then he's just like does the hat thing and here I am, it's like I'm like, oh my God, it was amazing. But those those jump off the two. Yeah, two.
I've got two. One, I'm gonna only half count because we knew it was happening, so it wasn't really a surprise. But Mr. Perfect in the 2002 Royal Rumble. But we knew it had been announced, but I was just like, man, just to watch Mr. Perfect walk out with that. And then the other one would be Diesel. I don't remember what year. I don't remember what year that was.
When all of a sudden you just heard the truck revving up.
Yeah, and it's like,
and then Taz, I believe, got muted because Taz was on commentary for that. I believe.
Was he?
Yeah, and he goes, "Holy shit!" and they're like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" They're like hitting the mute button. But then, so now clips going forward, you'll hear "Holy shit," and it'll just cut. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great one. Big Daddy Cool. Kevin Nash He's another one I just like. We can have a whole nother conversation about people that are judged based off of injuries. Like, but man, like he was one of the coolest dudes in the world, and because he or a quad or two, people are just like, oh, he's such a fragile piece of shit. Like,
interesting thing. I would like to know. I would love to ask him at some point when he came back and tore his quad. Right when he came back and he'd been out with a bicep injury, came back and immediately tore his quad in that multi-man tag match, which I was there for that as well. But
did you log it on MyFandom? Just out of curiosity. Did you log it on MyFandom app? Yeah.
I didn't. I don't have any pictures from it.
Oh, all right. Well,
I didn't bring a camera, and we didn't have cameras on our phone back then.
That's true.
But I remember talking to Goldust after the show. He like came over, and he's like, "Yeah, no, he's hurt. He's really hurt." It was crazy. It was a weird night. But someone just posted the video of that, and I saw an interesting thing that I'd never noticed before. He gets into the ring, gets the tag, gets into the ring. And as soon as he steps into the ring, he like gently grabs his leg and then goes through and does the move and does the big boot and then goes and runs afterwards. And steps over and collapses.
You think he felt it starting?
I think the second he stepped in, he felt something go and was like, wow. Oh, that felt a little weird. And then went and did the thing and then another step. Yeah. Because why? I mean, he literally grabs his knee as soon as he steps in and then does the thing. And then, so, I mean, listen, it doesn't matter what, it's not like that changes anything.
Oh, yeah. It's a very good observation. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to be observant.
Yeah. Not like wrestling observant, sir. No.
No. Because I like facts.
Yeah. No, I know. Facts really scare people lately. But listen, Royal Rumble, it's going to be really, really fun. Josh is missing out at Shop Studios this Saturday night. I know he's watching it with his kids, so you can't duplicate that and you can't replicate that. But I wish we lived in a world where Josh can get in the car with his kid and drive up and hang out, because coming to Shop Studios is none other than Sent to Slaughter. They're going to be in the house. Josh's best friends in the entire universe.
Danny Moff, like a
Danny
brother.
Moff,
Sean Donovan like a son. I
order some food and have a good old time.
Man, that's going to be a great time.
In fact, if I do the show, the live show at the studio, chances are it gets taken over by Danny Moff. So, he might get a run. We'll have to see. We'll see if he just kicks the door down or he's a gentle human being. We'll figure that out. But yeah, man, it's going to be Royal Rumble is one of those things. Where
last question before you got to go, because I know you have a hard out. Was my inflection wrong on that? Hard out, not a hard out. But my last question for you.
Sure.
Favorite Efren jacket? No. My last.
Who cares?
My last question for. Oh, by the way, shout out to Efren's jacket. That man has the jacket that your buddy, what's his name?
McAfee?
Pat McAfee was wearing. That was the jacket. That was the jacket that Efren had for the showcase. And then I think he got he said something like he got nervous and forgot to put it on before he went out.
So McAfee debuted it and he didn't?
Yeah. But Efren had a picture wearing it. So I just think it's interesting. And I mean, honestly, you should probably tweet this at Pat McAfee. Hey man, I thought your jacket was really gay.
That ought to go over well.
But my last question for you.
What's up?
Favorite Royal Rumble of all time?
I mean, is there a question that it's not 92? Is there a question that that's not the greatest Royal Rumble maybe ever? With Ric Flair and winning, tear in my eye, you know what I mean? All that shit.
That may be the greatest.
That's not my favorite. Yeah, it's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite.
My favorite, I guess, would have to be. Yeah, I'm a 95 guy. I think that in 95, 96, one of those two that Sean won, those are my favorite. I mean, to watch back.
Mine's 97. I think it was the height of my fandom as
Stone Cold?
Stone Cold, Bret Hart, and then Stone Cold slid back in at brought you to the Final Four and all that stuff. For me, as a fan at that age where I was right there, I was 13 years old. Like that was just, things were starting to turn in 97 to get a little edgier as I was becoming, a teenager. And like, we've talked about this before. My age matched perfectly with the Attitude Era coming in. And it's my favorite time, 97. So
is the worst Rumble of all time the Vince McMahon win?
One of, I was not a big fan of the Attitude Era, like time period, like a lot of stuff in that 99.
Yeah, I mean, The Rock won a couple of them. Stone Cold won a couple, and so did like Vince McMahon.
McMahon won in 99. Rock won in 2000. Stone Cold won in 2001.
I mean, the worst finish of all time. There's been two, and one of them is John Cena and Batista. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on with that.
Talk about torn quads.
Torn quads. And also, to me, Luger, Bret Hart. They really ruined that shit. And I understand what they were going for, but like
I as a kid just kept going, why don't you just restart it?
Right.
Like, I remember as a kid going like, why don't you just restart
it? If you as a kid
I was 10.
That, what the fuck are we doing? Like that.
I was 10 years old, and I'm just going, and they're all arguing, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, we just restart it. They both landed at the same time. Okay. Oh, sorry guys, doesn't count. Get back in the ring.
Get back in there.
Let's just go again.
Here we go.
Like, this isn't that complicated, guys.
I know. So the fact that like Jack Tunney, Gorilla Monster, they're all out there like, I don't know what to do. It's like, what the fuck? Anyway, I dropped a lot of F-bombs in the end. I'm sorry.
The end?
But yes, the end. Like I meant
the whole time.
No, they sporadically pop in every so often, but I feel like I dropped too many at the end. So my apologies for that. But guys, listen, make sure you tune in on Saturday afternoon from 4:30 to 5:30. Myself and Josh Shernoff will be live and on the big screen at Top Guy Rumble Weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of interacting. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Show some support to everybody. Follow Fight Factory Wrestling on Instagram for all the newest updates and things. We'll be dropping a couple more announcements over the next couple days, weeks, because we're still very, very far from it. But we have our first meeting today at Tiki Bar to go over some of the structures that we might want to build and if it's allowed. So I digress with that. Anyway, for Dave Sturchio, Josh Shernoff, tune in on Saturday. We'll see you then. God bless. I love you, Effie. And I love you, Efren. I love everybody. I'm just a lovable guy. Good night, everybody.